From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready. I am in the Clark Ford Studio this morning. Neal is in Birmingham, Hoover, whatever you want to call it. SEC Media Day week is here, where all the national writers will tell you the college football season is underway. We're going to have a week of it, then we're going to have a few weeks off, then we're going to have a month of camp, and then we're going to have the college football season. So it kicks off today with Florida, LSU, Missouri. Greg Sankey might be today too. I don't know. Sankey is today. All right. We'll talk about Media Day a good bit today. Whatever else comes up, and we'll kick off the week for you here on the podcast is brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Remember, stop by, get a daiquiri. It's going to heat back up. It's raining right now. It's going to rain for a couple more days, but one of those daiquiris will feel pretty good for you. As low as $3.99, as big as 44 ounces if you so wish. And while you're doing it, you can fill up at the pump, save some money there with the mobile rewards program, the Speed Pass Plus app, and much more. And again, I am at least in the Clark Ford studio this morning.
Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. You call the number 662-257-1900. You ask for Corey Clark, and you tell Corey what Ford you're looking for. And if it's a week like last week where they're trying to move F-150s that are on the lot, they will not be beat on a deal. It's that simple. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. They want to move vehicles, and that is to your benefit. You can take that quote, of course, and you can use it as a baseline moving forward. Or you can do what I have done on 3 different occasions now, and that's take that quote and get into a Clark Ford. You'll love the product. You'll love the service after the sale. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy. He'll prove it to you. 662-257-1900.
You've been to Columbia, South Carolina, Birmingham a number of times. The F-150 does handle well on the road, so you're all good there if that is your choice.
It's awesome. I don't think you could get me into another car right now.
Really?
No, I love it.
So, okay, let's see. Let's do schedule first. Today is Mullen, Orgeron, and Odom. So Florida, LSU, Missouri. Tomorrow, as most people know because it's Matt Luke's day, Kirby Smart and Matt Luke. Then Jeremy Pruitt and Jimbo Fisher, Tennessee and Texas A&M. In the other session, Nick Saban and Chad Morris. Then Joe Moorhead and Will Muschamp. And then closing it up on Thursday is Gus Malzahn, Mark Stoops, and Derek Mason. Maybe the two of the or at least two who have some hot seat situations going for the SEC this season. And then players attending, you know by now, Ole Miss sending Matt Corral, Alex Givens, and Mohamed Sanogo. And you wrote about this in 10 Thoughts. We talked about it on the podcast last week. A lot of credit to Matt Luke sending Matt Corral, the only underclassman in the SEC to be in attendance. It's number one, it's being aware of who you should talk to. Two, it's great practice for Corral. He's going to get a lot of questions. He's a guy that we're going to ask for every Monday pretty much throughout the football season. Ole Miss typically sends the quarterback to the media room every Monday during football season. So really props to Ole Miss for that, because everybody else doing kind of the, hey, you're a senior, you deserve it thing. Ole Miss is getting their quarterback prepared at least as much as you can in a media setting for what's to come this season.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to that. You're exactly right, though. It's a
made-for-TV event for now, but if you can get something out of it, get something out of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of media, so people wonder, how does it work? So the coach, in case you don't really know, and the coach goes up and he does the thing at the podium, and I'm talking about in the main media room. For the players, they'll do the same thing that the coach does, except they don't ever go to the podium.
Yeah, let me interject you real quick. So there's the main media room and just this huge ballroom in the Winfrey. That is the one you see on TV. That's where all those cameras are set up. Well, there's also a TV or a radio, TV and internet room kind of off to the side. It's a smaller thing, kind of same deal, come in there, answer questions, whatever. And then there's Radio Row, where all the different stations and shows and whoever are lined up kind of down the entire lobby wall to do that. So these guys have got to do this rotation all the way around these events over the course of about 2 hours.
Yeah, and so in that big media room, when the head coach gets through talking, they have 3 tables kind of set up in different corners of the room, and that's where the players go, and media just sort of congregate. And the player sits there and kind of has questions thrown at him from different writers who are working on different things, and then a writer will get what he wants, and he goes to another table to get what he needs from that player, and then it's just kind of – and they'll sit there for, 30 minutes. And frankly, there aren't that – I know there's this image of writers trying to do these gotcha moments and stuff. They're just not. And because of the format, it's not like you have a one-on-one. It's why I always giggled. Really, I thought it was so stupid, this fear that writers were going to come up to Ole Miss players and say, did Ole Miss buy you? Let's just say, for kicks and giggles, that a reporter was working on that story. That is absolutely the very last place he or she would ask that story, because there's another 50 writers at minimum standing there, where if in the nightmare scenario that I guess Hugh Freeze always envisioned, the player was like, well, I mean, they did whatever. Okay, well, now 50 media outlets have your story.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even get the 7 seconds of owning the story. Everyone has it now.
You did explosive work for probably your competition and everybody else.
In fact, you probably just got yourself beat. It's really minutia stuff. The craziest thing that's going to happen to Matt Corral is there's going to be 2 or 3 media outlets that are going to ask him, what's your favorite kind of sandwich? What do you know?
The question that, I mean, I don't even think anybody would ask, but might throw him, make sure to figure it out, is go, hey, you dated his daughter. What's Brett Michaels like? Okay.
There you go.
Great.
Yep. Or what's it like to see your ex-girlfriend in Sports Illustrated swimsuit?
Yeah. You might want to have an answer prepared for that one.
Might want to think about that. But literally, man, I mean, I don't get no one. I mean, the hardest question that you're going to get asked is why, do you have is there a chip on your shoulder from Florida and USC or whoever it was dropping you? Do you have a chip on your shoulder? I don't know. Beats me. I mean, I have no idea what he's going to be asked. But my point is that if media days rattles Matt Corral, and it won't, by the way, he'll actually enjoy it. He'll have fun. All the players will tell you that they hate it. They usually really like it. They get all dressed up. They take pictures of themselves in really nice suits and stuff, and they get walked around like they're royalty. And most of the people that are talking to them are kind of either asking generic football questions or trying to find something different to have a little fun. Because like you said, it's kickoff. It's not kickoff. The season doesn't start for another, 7 weeks? It's not kickoff. As much as people want to make it kickoff, there's no kickoff anytime soon. Camp kicks off fairly soon. I've heard Ole Miss starts August 1st or 2nd. So, camp it's 2 weeks away. It's getting close, but it's not kickoff. And so most people aren't writing the hardcore, hey, Matt, what's the game plan for Memphis story? Because his answer, I have no freaking idea. I mean, they haven't even gotten anywhere close to that. So I don't know. It's a good opportunity for him to kind of be a leader, to be a face of a program, because he's going to have to be. If the football gods come down and tell me, hey, this season is a disaster for Matt Corral, I say, oh boy, football gods, it gets bad in Oxford, huh? I mean, that's the first thought I would have. If this is a disastrous season for Matt Corral, if he can't handle this role, well, then I know that this is a really rough year. I mean, really rough. There's a lot of pressure on Matt Corral. There's no way around that. And so for him to come be the face of the program for a day is a good move. And it also shows you that whether it was Matt Luke or Kyle Campbell or Michael Thompson or some combination thereof, it is media days. It is built for media. And so bring the people that the media want to talk to. Don't bring the senior backup defensive end, or in Texas A&M's case, they're bringing a punter. I mean, what are you going to ask the punter?
He's a really good punter, though, isn't he?
He's really good. But come on. It's the frustrating part. It's media days. Bring the players that the media wants to talk to.
A&M is bringing the quarterback, at least.
He is bringing the quarterback. Most schools are bringing their quarterback. There's a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Tua's going to be there. I can't even imagine that zoo.
Yeah, I'm going to go through the players in a minute. But Givens, a guy that, frankly, Ole Miss has to have be good and stay healthy, period, this season.
Yeah. I mean, he's another guy that if the football gods came down and said, hey, it's a disaster season for Alex Givens, you go, uh-oh.
Yeah. And Sanogo is in a new system, but he can play some linebacker. Very smart guy. He will be good if people engage him on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sanogo will be good. No doubt in my mind.
I saw where he is now changing the usage of his first name to Momo. Just going with it now.
Oh, we are doing that? We're not? Okay.
Appears to be the case. M-O-M-O.
That's fine. Whatever.
I remember last year he told me that I'd mispronounced his name, and I thought, well, I wasn't trying to. And I told him that. I said, I'm not attempting to mispronounce it. And as someone whose name is mispronounced daily, I understood the frustration. I said, well, I will attempt to get it right. But it gave me a mental block about his name. And so I'm really glad that he's going with Momo because I can pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, I've told this story before. Just because he didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings or point it out, Austin Bousfield went 3 years almost without the correct pronunciation of his name from anybody. Everybody just said Bosfield for years. And even the PA announcer, and it was Bousfield. And I think they changed it before his junior year. He's just like, whatever. It's fine. Don't care.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people say McCready. I've gotten where I respond to it. Because if I correct them and say McCready, they act offended that I corrected them.
It's been 19 seasons, and the moderator at the SEC baseball tournament, every single interview continues to say Mike Bianco. 19 seasons.
Bizarre.
I mean, and he's been told over and over and over and over again, Bianco. It's like, dude, it's just Bianco, please. Like, I don't even care, and I'm annoyed by it at this point.
Yeah.
To the point of Ole Miss media will look at him and go, Bianco.
My mother will correct people that do McCready.
Really?
And I've given up. I've literally surrendered.
And that means she always will at this point.
Yeah. And and I think it's fair. Get it right.
Yeah. Good. So, get to the players in a minute. Let's do coaches. Do today. Florida, LSU, Missouri. Mullen's got a chance to get some questions today in one of these rooms. He has lost 3 or 4 of the top-rated guys from this class that is currently incoming. Had the terrible look over the player that asked for a room transfer and didn't get it because of violence or being caught in a weird situation, and comes to find out that's exactly what was going to happen. He talk about a kind of a bloom off a rose a little bit because Florida has a chance to be really good on the football field. Thought he did an excellent job last season. He's very comfortable in Gainesville. He seems happy. But some of this stuff going on, this can turn your tenure sideways in a heartbeat.
Oh, there's no doubt. I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts a little bit. He's going to be a guy that's going to get some tough questions. There are people there that should have some concern about where their program is. What's the deal? Why did these things happen? The player asking for a room change and not getting it is an inexcusable error on their part. On multiple levels.
What's the reasoning for declining it?
I don't know.
I mean, it seems like such the basic thing. Just go, okay, fine, whatever. Whether you're right or wrong, sure.
His is one today that I'm going to listen to because I'm curious. I'm not writing about it much because I've discovered that if I write a whole bunch of stuff about other schools, no one reads it. That was the poll I meant to put up was, would you guys read stuff if I put it up? I think the answer is no. If I write an LSU story today, I just don't know how many people are really going to read an LSU story. So I might just put up a little notebook that has a few things from different schools. I don't know. I don't know the answer for why they did it. Stubborn. I think they wanted the kid that left to end up being a positive role model that rubbed off on the kid that got in trouble, and it just didn't work like that. I mean, he immediately told them, "Hey, this is a problem. This is not what I signed up for." And he was concerned there's going to be guilt by association, and I don't want it. And he was right. And once his name got dragged, even though he was completely innocent, he goes, "I'm out. That's it. I told you that's not what I wanted. I'm out." It's a terrible look. I mean, I can tell you that if my daughter is at a dorm, and this won't happen because my daughter's rooming with an absolute incredible kid, but if by chance my daughter was rooming with somebody and she got in there and a week into it called and said, "Hey, Dad,
we got a problem.
My roommate's doing drugs. She's doing this. She's doing this. I'm worried about it." And I called the university and say, "I need a roommate. I need a room change ASAP." And they tell me, "Well, we can't." It is not good. Not good. My response to that is not going to be good. And that's exactly what happened with this kid and his family. They went to the coaches and said, "Really want a room change. Just need a room change. Any room change. Don't really care what room change. Just get me out of that one." No. That didn't go over well. I can see why his parents or whoever was making that decision said, "We're leaving."
Yeah.
I get it. That's the problem I have sometimes with football players and football programs. And I'm not referring to Ole Miss right now at all. I'm referring to programs like this one. For all of the BS about student athletes, they forget that these are just kids, man. Just kids who happen to be good football players. But they're still just like any other college kid.
They're dealing with freshman stuff like everybody else. And frankly, more of it because they're so time regimented right now.
Yes, and it's one of the things that when people talk about, like, spinning this back to Ole Miss for a second, the interesting part of this season is that so much of it depends on early success, and so much of the early success depends on young players. And a lot of those cats are going through the same adjustment to being away from home that you did when you went to college. They just play football. Just because they run fast and have big muscles doesn't mean that they're any more mature than you were at that age. And frankly, in several cases, and I'm not referring to anybody specific, just football players in general, oftentimes they're less mature than you were at that age. They just run fast and have big muscles. I mean, I'm being serious.
Yeah,
and so you're counting on those guys right away. That's a lot. It's a lot to ask. That is a big ask.
Missouri today, it's going to be a lot of replacing Drew Lock, a lot of emphasis on Kelly Bryant, and a lot of can the Tigers take that next step, is that some people are predicting 8, 9, whatever wins. Should be a pretty easy day for Odom, but it's going to be all centered around his quarterbacks.
Oh, sure. He's going to talk a lot about Drew Lock and talk a lot about Kelly Bryant. We'll talk a lot about how they have everything back and a pretty favorable schedule and an opportunity.
And they do.
Because they do. I mean,
basically, they want to be the team in case Georgia screws it up.
Yeah.
That's Missouri's goal. Hang in there, beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and in case Georgia, for some reason, has chaos, we can hang around the back door.
Yeah, if Georgia spits the bit, you get to go get your brains beat in by Alabama in December.
Yeah.
But and if Georgia doesn't spit the bit, you win 9 games and you go to the Capital One Bowl, Citrus Bowl, or the Outback Bowl or whatever. And let's be honest, at a place like Missouri,
all good.
That's success. The end of the season, if you're 9-3 and playing on January the 1st in Orlando or Tampa, went well. Went real well. Your fans are excited.
They'll be happy to go to Orlando and play Northwestern.
Sure. I mean, seriously, what percentage of Missouri fans would, if I told them today, if the football gods came down and said 9-3 Outback Bowl, what percentage of Missouri fans would be disappointed? 1%?
Yeah, very, very small. So, We'll continue with some of the other coaches before the next time we talk in a second. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Stone County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing in Oxford and the float down option. So you can lock in the current rate, but if rates go down before you close, you get the lower rate. Rates are about the lowest they've been in a little over 2 years, so maybe time to refinance, maybe a time to buy. You can find out more at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Hot weather is here, and with it comes the debate of sock or no sock for your loafers. Save your feet and your shoes from making their own impressions by stepping into spring with some no-shows from Dead Socksy today. You really need to experience the difference a quality sock makes. It's the first step in dressing for the job you want, not the job you have. So go to deadsocksy.com, enter the code Rebel Grove at checkout, get 30% off all orders, including sale items and including the no-shows, which are the same quality you already love and enjoy with Dead Socksy's traditional dress sock. Again, deadsocksy.com. Promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. As you'll be told a lot this week, football's getting closer. You don't want to miss 1 minute of the action at the Vault this season as Ole Miss football arrives in September. Reserve your season tickets with the new 2019 season ticket pricing for just $299. For more information, visit OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. Podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They have clients in more than 20 states. What they do is they provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. They treat investing like a commodity. They make decisions using objective information and research, not emotions. And the main thing that they do that sets them apart is they sit down with you, regardless of your level of wealth. They listen to you. They find out what your retirement goals are, how you want to spend your retirement. Then they study your expenses, and they put forth a very comprehensive, down to the penny, down to the day, detailed financial and retirement plan. That is not what the cookie-cutter financial planners do. It's what Pintrust does. You can find out more by going to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. And we're brought to you by the Westin Jackson. It's a Marriott property. You can accrue Marriott points. You can use your Marriott points for a wonderful stay at the Westin Jackson. You can visit Soul Spots, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. They have personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. And then you can go to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, or enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships, so gather at Estelle tonight.
Ed Orgeron, the other coach, going today there at the Winfrey, and frankly, for Ed, not a lot of news, not a ton going on with LSU right now, in my opinion. Am I missing something?
No, pretty quiet. You know what? He's got to give the guy some credit. And this is going to be his big challenge because they've hired another offensive coordinator, young guy, wants to have pace, wants to throw it. It's considered a real up-and-comer in the coaching ranks.
Sounds like Matt Canada.
Yeah, and so here we go, right? He's going to run into some failure at some point because it's like Matt Corral. One of the questions about Matt Corral is, can you handle failure? Can you handle 3 straight 3-and-outs?
Keep your cool. Keep everybody motivated. Keep everybody up. Chill out.
Can you handle getting skull-drugged in Tuscaloosa and walk into the meeting on Sunday and go, hey, guys, turn the page?
Yeah, that's over. Vanderbilt up next. Here we go.
Yeah.
Cal, whoever it is, I forget.
So the question with Orgeron that remains, and I think it's the one of the last big hurdles to becoming a really successful coach, because the guy can recruit. The guy can motivate. But can he leave the offensive coordinator alone long enough to let him work through issues and get the system in? Or is he going to go do – because Ed's problem is he wants to be hands-on. Can you do it? Can you do what Matt Luke has done with Rich Rodriguez and said it's yours? Tell me what you need. I'll get it for you. yours. So far, Orgeron has not been able to do that on the offensive side of the ball. He's been able to do it on defense because that's his area, and he's over there anyway. But he hasn't been able to do it on offense, and that's the big question.
Tuesday, because we will not have a show in the morning because Matt Luke's in the morning, and that would be very stupid because we would be doing things that would be happening in real time, and frankly, we'd have to go at like 6 a.m. because Neil has to get to the Winfrey. So tomorrow, we'll go through these two. Then we'll go from there with the other guys. Kirby Smart, Matt Luke, Jeremy Pruitt, and Jimbo Fisher tomorrow. Obviously, we've already talked about Matt a good bit. Kirby's thing will be kind of Nick Saban-y, pretty boring. It's a big season for Jeremy Pruitt. Like I said, I've said on the podcast a good bit. I think we have, or at least I have, undervalued him. I think he's done a better job than maybe I thought he was going to do. I thought his season went well to a lot of extent. However, I'm still not seeing a lot of wins, and Tennessee's crazy. Tennessee constantly thinks they're back. He could do a pretty decent job, go 5-7, 6-6, and be not blazing hot seat wise, but everybody in Big Orange will be pretty annoyed with him at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think if you were to poll Tennessee fans, and they're among the most unrealistic in the league, maybe the country, they're expecting 8 or 9 wins.
I just don't see that.
And I think delivering that is going to be really hard.
Jimbo has a similar circumstance just because we know A&M's crazy. That schedule is brutal. They might win a lot of games, but that schedule is awful.
Schedule's really tough. They get Clemson on the road. They've got Alabama. They've got Georgia.
I mean, that's 3 right there.
That's 3, yeah, where if you win one of those 3, you have to be thrilled.
And if you lose all 3, well, all of a sudden that ceiling's getting pretty low.
And you still have LSU, and you still have Auburn. It's a difficult schedule, and the expectations are high. This is not the season, though, that he'll be held. His feet won't be held to the fire.
Look, they can lose to Carolina. They closed the season at LSU.
They can lose to Auburn.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to talk about Auburn in a minute. I mean, Auburn's got a funky September. I mean, they've got, Oregon and A&M in September.
Well, I mean, look, Ole Miss has played well against them over the years. Last year, Scotty Phillips gets hurt very early in the game, doesn't really play, and Ole Miss still was kind of in that thing late.
Sure.
So, I mean, look, yeah, I do think that if you wanted to go out on, maybe not even a huge limb, but just go, hey, there's kind of an overvalued group, I think it's the Aggies. I'm not saying I would bet on it necessarily because I do think they're going to be pretty good, but I could see that thing getting really weird here in year 2 of Jimbo.
Yeah, I don't think it gets weird this year because I think this year it's still new. And
well, I mean, schedule-wise, if you told me they went 7-5, okay, sure, why not?
Right.
6-6, okay.
Right, I think this year could set up next year as kind of an awkward, weird year. I mean, Jimbo's going to sit back and go, "Hey, I've got money, so whatever." But yeah, I think so. Now, look, I think A&M's going to be good because Jimbo's a weird cat. I get all that. He's also a really good coach, and I know the deal at Florida State fell apart on him. I expect him to do pretty big things at A&M. Now, does he do as big as everybody there wants? That I don't know, but I do expect them to be a 9+ win program soon.
Okay. Alabama, as you mentioned, sending Tua Tagovailoa, Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver, and then Dylan Moses. Dylan Moses, a guy that you and I have been hearing about for about 15 years now. How many interviews you think he has done? Dylan Moses.
Oh, in the thousands?
Yeah. I mean, that dude was in 7th grade doing interviews.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the funniest sights. There will be someone, from Alabama just hovering over those interviews, like, just in case Dylan needs help. This cat's been doing interviews since he was 12.
Maybe literally.
This cat's he's been polished as an interviewee since he was a freshman in high school. He's got it down pat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, other than an interview setting a couple times, I don't know that I've ever spoken to Dylan Moses, and I feel like I know that cat because I've been seeing him for a decade.
Yeah, I mean, you can have Dylan Moses, and can you imagine how many interviews Tua has done now?
Yeah.
You can have them walk around with other players going, "Hey, let me help you here. I got it."
Yeah.
I mean, for that matter, how many interviews has Matt Corral done?
Yeah.
Hundreds, right?
Well, yeah, it was always the joke with Shea Patterson. I mean, come on.
That was one of the funniest days when Hugh decides to take the red shirt off of Shea. And I think they were getting ready to go play at A&M, if I recall correctly. And
That's correct.
it's that Monday, and they bring Shea in. And Hugh's like, first, guys, this is his first interview session or whatever. You're like, no, it's not.
Dude set an alarm at
brilliant.
6:45 in the morning to do a podcast with us the year before that. I mean, come on.
It's like, come on, man. And then he hovers in the room.
Yeah. He was so nervous that day.
I know people think this always we're bashing Freeze. We're really not trying to. I'm trying to give you a little insight behind the scenes.
Shea pulled off the Bull Durham thing for 5 minutes and walked out the room. All good. Cool.
Shea Patterson, for whatever you think of him, could conduct interviews in his sleep.
Yes.
He's done so many. I wonder if he's going to Big Ten Media Days next week.
I don't know. Surely, right?
He'll probably get some hard questions now about that Twitter account.
I think it was completely fake.
You think it was totally a setup?
Yeah. I don't think it was real at all. I think it was completely the site like making up that tweet.
Oh, wow.
If I'm wrong, tell me, somebody out there. But I think it was completely nothing. Like I told you, the comedy was that we all saw it and thought it could easily be real. Because his dad got a hold of his account, not Shea.
Yeah.
Shea, for, again, whatever you think about him, he's in a weird situation. So anyway.
Andy Staples has joined the Athletic. Everyone's going to the Athletic.
Staples joined the Athletic?
Yeah.
Did he do one of those why I joined the Athletic things?
Well, he tweets, "So I have a new job. I really wanted to say no interviews respect my decision, but please interview me. I'll tell you why I took a new job at the Athletic. Blah, 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 blah."
Oh. Okay.
They have one hell of a roster.
They have one hell of a payroll. Kind of curious how that's going to go over the course of the next 5 years.
Yeah, he's now covering college football with Mandel, Feldman, Nicole Auerbach, Chantel Jennings, Chris Vanini, Max Olson, Matt Fortunia. I don't know all the other cats.
Okay. No, good for him.
I mean, good for them. I mean, I cheer. I've said all along, I cheer for the Athletic. I want them to do well. I do question how all these cats are getting paid.
Yeah.
But I'm for them. I'm completely for them. I love the product.
Let's see. Arkansas, Devois Whaley is the only skill player going for the Hogs. McTelvin Agam, the defensive lineman, and then Dijon Harris, a linebacker for the Razorbacks. Auburn's sending 3 linemen. They're sending Derek Brown, the senior defensive tackle, Marlon Davidson, the senior defensive end, and Prince Wanogo, the senior offensive lineman. So they're going all linemen there with Gus this time. Who's their quarterback?
It's either going to be Jay and I talked about this on Greatest Pod in the South.
Is the freshman possible?
It's either going to be the freshman or it's the
Bo Nix.
Oh gosh. No, it's Nix is the freshman who's got a real shot at it. Who's the other kid?
Because, I mean, quarterback position at Auburn's been like deck chairs on the Titanic lately. Everybody's transferring out of that place.
Who is that kid? I'm pulling it up. Auburn quarterbacks 2019. I'm going to find his name.
Okay.
I've got to learn these names. Oh, Joey Gatewood.
Oh, yeah. Remember that. Okay. So it makes sense why they did not send one. I get that. Let's see. Florida sending Felipe Franks. He is still just a junior. Felipe Franks is a junior?
He was in college during Watergate.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's got like Vanderbilt quarterback syndrome. We thought like Cutler and Zolman and those guys were just there a decade. They're sending their running back, and then they're sending a defensive lineman, so good on Mullen. Jake Fromm for Georgia, J.R. Reed, a defensive back, and Andrew Thomas, a lineman. Again, okay, fine, whatever. Kentucky sending Lynn Bowden, an athlete. He's listed as an athlete, I have no idea. Cash Daniel, their linebacker that most people know, and then Logan Stenberg, an offensive lineman. No quarterback for Kentucky. I have no idea who their quarterback is. So, there's that. Let's see. Joe Burrow, Grant Delpit, and Lloyd Cushenberry, a lineman for LSU, so another quarterback there. Mississippi State going with Farrod Green, Errol Thompson, and Darrell Williams, a senior center for the Bulldogs. So,
I tell you what, Grant Delpit is as good a player as there is in the league.
He is. He's not going to win any like Heisman or anything like that, but he is a son of a gun back there, isn't he?
If you told me I could have 5 players, he'd be on my list.
He'd be one of them?
Yes.
Okay. Missouri sending Kelly Bryant. Good on them. I thought they would, but, I mean, just don't do anything stupid and don't. Kel Garrett, a linebacker, and then DeMarcus Acey, the corner. That's pretty good. South Carolina, speaking of guys who've been around forever, Jake Bentley is back for the Gamecocks. T.J. Brunson and Brian Edwards, a couple seniors there. Tennessee sending their quarterback, Jared Guarantano, along with Daniel Batuli. Ole Miss recruited him back in the day, one of those linebackers. And then Darrell Taylor, another linebacker that is a senior. Kellen Mond, the punter, as you mentioned, Braden Mann, and Justin Matabuki, the defensive lineman, the junior for A&M. And then Vanderbilt sending guys where I think I do know one of the 3 names, period. I guess 2. I know Jared Pinkney, the tight end. Kashawn Vaughn, their running back, and then a wide receiver. So 3 offensive players and no quarterback for the Commodores.
You're still missing your running back friend, right?
Yeah, and I don't have like even a little bit of a substitute this year. You know, last year I sort of at least played with the idea of Benny Snell. I have nothing. I don't have a dude, and I'm not seeing one on this list that sticks out, like some random running back. Because he can't be like too good of a team. That's not what we're doing here.
Is he safe? Does he have to win a certain number of games?
Mason?
Yeah.
Surely, right? Like, surely he has to win a certain number of games, right?
I think he's kind of hung in there.
I mean, if anybody cares at all, he's hung in there, but there's no way to look at that and go, "Oh yeah, really positive trajectory here." None.
Yeah, he's benefited from getting Ole Miss and Tennessee at the end of his schedule a couple of times and won those games.
Oh, no, he's saved his job at least twice.
And kind of created momentum, false momentum. I've just never sensed that program has any momentum at all. When you go to a game there's just nobody there. I don't know that Nick Saban could turn it around at Vanderbilt.
I think Franklin did about as well as you can do. I think that's what you do. He won 9 games in back-to-back seasons. He took advantage of the teams that were not very good at the time, and then he took advantage of some games where, frankly, he was let in and kept into it. I mean, you remember that 2012 game with Ole Miss where I don't want to make fun of the kid, but the kid on the defensive end didn't make that tackle. Ole Miss had the big lead, it slipped away, and then Vanderbilt won the game, and it was one of really the markers where Robert Kimdichie was there that day and goes, "Hey, I can make that play." And it was one of the ways Freeze was able to talk him into, "Hey, see, when we have you guys, that doesn't happen, and then we can take this step and next step." Ole Miss lost the game, but it ended up being a really effective recruiting pitch at that point. But point being, Vanderbilt took advantage of those situations and just played pretty sound fundamental football. I mean, I think I'm right here, unless there's been one in the last 2 years. I don't think Vanderbilt has ever signed a top 100 national player in the Rivals era.
I can't think of one.
I think their top signee in the Rivals era is like 104 nationally or something like that. Playing in this conference. It's an impossible job.
Don't see how you do it.
No, it's just an impossible job. So
yeah.
Podcast brought to you in part by Master Cuts Lawn and Landscape, premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, but a lot more as well. They do everything from custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces with paver patios, forestry mulching, and much more. The path to your dream backyard, easier than you think. You can go online and get a free quote at gomastercuts.com or get that same free quote at 662-607-7773.
I know many of you, when you come to football in September and moving forward, you stop by Blue Delta Jeans. It's a good move. Their spring and summer line is out, and it's fantastic. You don't have to wait till football season to get into a pair of Blue Delta Jeans. They do pop-ups. They fit sports teams, all that stuff. This week, they're going to be in Houston on the 15th and 16th. That's today and Tuesday. Then they'll be in New York City and or the Hamptons. I guess that's kind of one and the same. From the 18th through the 23rd, they'll be in New York. The 18th through the 23rd, they'll be in the Hamptons Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you are in Houston or in the New York area and you want to get fitted for a pair of Blue Delta jeans, get in touch with them. Info, I-N-F-O, at BlueDeltaJeans.com, or send them a direct message on Twitter or Instagram. Their username, as you might expect, is Blue Delta Jeans. The podcast also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. A lot of you have used John. We appreciate that. I do. I know John does as well. People have booked trips to golf trips to Scotland. They've booked honeymoons to Hawaii, to the Whales Beach Resort, for example. It got a Mustang convertible thrown in for them. That's probably pretty memorable. A 14-day trip to London, Paris, Rome, Florence, Venice. Someone booked a 30th anniversary trip to Italy, Venice, Florence, Rome, etc. People have done long weekends at Orange Beach. There's just a lot of stuff there. The point is that John has connections all over the place. He's traveled the globe basically for 4 decades. The guy knows he knows the deals. He's part of Virtuoso. He can take care of you. What you do is you get in touch with him. Give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options that you won't find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. It's a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new 9-acre development, 7/10 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. It's conveniently located east of North Lamar, just a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center. Savannah Square will initially consist of 32 houses ranging in size from about 1,100 square feet to about 2,400 square feet. The model home is available for you to check out. It's at 215 William Street. These homes have wonderful layouts, impeccable finishes. You can inspect them at the model. So get in touch with Harry, look at the model, get more information about this great new development while they're still available. It's SavannahSquareOxford.com or call Harry 662-801-5621.
So looking here, and says I'm on CBS. I was sort of just scanning to see what anybody even thought the storylines from the conference or any of that kind of crap was, and this one stuck out because, frankly, I don't really believe it at all. It's the number 2 subhead, and it says year of the quarterback, and it's talking about guys who have had a little bit of success or could take steps in the league. It's a really good opportunity for a guy like Matt Corral, especially in Rich Rod's offense. I think Ole Miss has better offensive skill players. Maybe they're getting credit for it because there was a little bit of a stable behind the guys that they lost, if that offensive line can stay healthy and be somewhat productive, because we all know about Tungavaloa, we know about Jake Fromm, but that second tier, CBS trying to give credit for some level of success to Burrow, Garantano, Franks, Alulite Bentley, and Kellen Mond. There's nothing there that's overly scary as far as a third best quarterback in this league. And then after that, you're talking about transfers with Kelly Bryant. You're talking about either Nick Starkel or Ben Hicks at Arkansas, Tommy Stevens at Mississippi State. Compared to a lot of the previous seasons, there are very few noteworthy quarterbacks in this league right now.
Yeah, that's true. There's just not a lot there. I mean, frankly, Tua's has a legitimate chance to be the first pick in the draft, according to NFL people. So I believe him. Bryant's got a big name from Clemson, but he's at Missouri because he lost the job.
Fromm's fine.
He's fine. I was trying to think what I wanted to say about Fromm. I think Fromm's fine. He's never blown me away.
He looks, and this is what he's supposed to do. He looks like one of those Alabama quarterbacks that's good. All right,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Bentley's a good quarterback, and I think if Bentley played at a different program, he'd get more attention.
If Bentley's at Georgia, he's much more talked about, no doubt.
Yeah, no question. Like when
Bentley at Georgia would be better than Fromm at Georgia, in my opinion.
When South Carolina came back and beat Ole Miss, was it last year?
Was that really just last year? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Bentley made a bunch of throws in the second half of that game where I thought, wow, it was a pretty good throw. That's a good throw. That's a good play. He had a presence about him. But yeah, the other cats, like Arkansas,
Ben Hicks was terrible at SMU.
He was bad. Yeah, Starkle had moments.
Again, he's at Arkansas for a reason.
Yeah, he had moments. It's why when people do the transfer portal thing, hey, we get these questions all the time, and I realize it's just a fan question. I totally understand it. Hey, man, is Ole Miss going to get in the transfer portal? Like Jack Bicknell told me one day, we were sitting there talking. He goes, you got to remember, yeah, there's going to be a rare find in the transfer portal here and there. For the most part, it's full of kids that didn't make it where they are for whatever reason. But it's not, hey, man, there's a transfer portal full of All-Americans. No, doesn't work like that.
This might be my favorite line in this whole story, and I wasn't necessarily trying to make fun of it, but here we are. Riley Neal topped the 2,200-yard mark passing twice during his Ball State career and now appears to be in line to take over for Kyle Shermer at Vanderbilt. 2,200 yards is, I'm pretty sure my math's right here, fewer than 200 a game, guys. And we're touting him as, because he threw for fewer than 200 yards a game at Ball State, he's going to replace Shermer at Vanderbilt and be a significant name in the league.
Just doesn't work like that.
No, he's going to suck.
It's going to suck.
And Vanderbilt's going to lose a lot of football games. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Everything I hear about Vanderbilt from people who know what the hell they're talking about is that they've got a chance to be pretty good on defense.
So Vanderbilt, that's what Vanderbilt does. They're always okay on defense, and they suck on offense.
Yeah, I think what I mean is a chance to be better than usual on defense.
Okay, gotcha.
And a chance to be really struggling on offense, which means that 4 weeks into your season, the two sides of the football hate each other.
Well, because the kid at Vanderbilt, Keyshawn Vaughn, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Raph Webb was pretty good. All jokes aside. But when you can't throw the ball at all, you have no other offense whatsoever, the tread's off the tires, you can't move the football, and you get your head beat in. Yeah, especially now in the league these days, where you got to score some points.
When you're trying to block 9 with 6 or 7, it's hard.
Yeah,
in this league,
Vanderbilt doesn't have a quarterback.
Hard to win if you can't take the top off the defense.
Ole Miss has got to reverse that trend. They are just losing to Vanderbilt way too much.
Oh, you can't. Listen, let's keep this real. If you're Ole Miss and you're wanting to be a perennial quasi-contender, you simply must go 4-0 in the non-league. You simply must beat Vanderbilt every year. You must beat Arkansas every year. And you must beat Mississippi State damn near every year. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Because it's not in the cards at Ole Miss. And people are going to get mad at me here. I will own this one. I think I'm going to put you on the spot and tell me which part you disagree with.
Okay.
It is not in the cards at Ole Miss, even at its maximum, to dominate Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Texas A&M.
No, not dominate. No.
You can beat them some. Don't get me wrong. At your absolute peak performance, you can absolutely beat Alabama on occasion. Maybe even not regularly, but some. You can beat Auburn half the time. You can beat LSU half to maybe even slightly more than half the time.
And A&M has a reason to be dysfunctional, and when they do that, you might beat them a lot because they do have a tendency to kind of be weird.
But even at peak efficiency in today's college football, Ole Miss is never going to dominate those four programs. I'll stick by that. And you can get mad at me and send me all the nasty emails you want. It's hard to argue that, in my opinion. Not going to dominate those programs. So you do have to dominate Vanderbilt. You do have to dominate Arkansas. And yes, you have to dominate Mississippi State.
Well, and here's what you also have to do. Of those four programs, somebody's going to be in turmoil every year. It's not going to be the same team, but it's going to be one. Beat that team that time. Beat that team that time.
Yeah. When you have an opportunity, take it.
I mean, Hugh Freeze in 12 got the trajectory going the way he did because he took advantage of that Auburn team that sucked. They beat them 45-30 and broke that big SEC losing streak, and that was the catalyst to later on get them to 6 wins and give them a shot at some of those players.
Yeah, for sure.
Beat the team that is having problems.
Yep.
And then, beat the other ones you're talking about. That's it.
Yep. That's it. If you're really wanting the path for Ole Miss to be a 9-win program, because once you become a 9-win program, you're going to have years that it doesn't work out, but you're going to have years where it does. And that's the year that gives you a chance to really contend. But to do it, Vanderbilt can't be a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas can't be a loss. Look at this season. For the people that are out there doing the pie in the sky 8-win stuff, God bless you. 8 wins absolutely includes wins over Vanderbilt and Arkansas. If you lose one of those games, there is not a chance in hell that you get to 8.
Got to run the coin flips.
Absolutely. Have to get them all.
So you turned the tennis on in the 5th set yesterday?
I did. I got to this hotel at they let me check in early, and I actually was just looking at Twitter. I was kind of trying to plan my day because I wanted to go get a workout in and all that. And Twitter was talking about this epic 5th set, and I was like, oh, I forgot they're even playing. And so I turned it on, and I think it was 5 to. I tell you when I turned it on, Chase. It was 6-5 in the 5th set. And Federer was serving to extend it.
Okay.
And then I watched the rest of it. And I cheered for Federer for whatever reason. Because as your theory holds true, if you watch a sports game of any sort, you cheer for somebody or some team.
Well, it's funny because I was texting Jeffrey and a couple other buddies while it was going on, and I had the opposite thing and couldn't figure out why I felt that way. I was cheering for Djokovic and had zero reason. I sent Jeffrey a text. I said, I'm for Novak, and I have no idea why. and I think it was because the crowd was so heavy Federer that I was just like, fine, I'll go for the other guy. It's fine. Seems like a good dude. Yeah. They both seem like good dudes.
They both seem like good guys. I actually think Djokovic sort of felt bad that Federer had to stand there and be the loser.
Well, I mean, it is such a difficult spot. And now, look, Federer's won plenty of times. He'll be all right. But it is such a difficult spot for number 2 because that ceremony takes forever. You're out there standing in line and pictures and waiting and interviews. I mean, it's a 25, 30-minute deal before you can go up under and scream and cuss for a second.
And he kept thinking about, I had 2 match points.
Well, yeah, like they asked him, what is this, whatever, and he's like, well, I mean, my kids would much rather me brought the trophy home and not the plate. They won't be very impressed by the plate.
He had 40-15, and his first serve was bad, and I think he was going for the kill there. And then at 40-30, he actually had a pretty good plan, and Djokovic just made a great shot. And then he had a couple of break opportunities that he didn't get that I think if he could have gotten them, the match goes the other way. That's the crazy thing about a match like that that's that long. It really comes – you really could turn it on 3 or 4 plays.
It's why tennis is so weird, because through 3 sets, Federer had not been broken on his serve and maybe had not even faced a break point, and he was down 2-1. Because he lost tiebreakers in the first set and the third set.
Yeah, the tiebreaker favors Djokovic.
The instance that there was a tiebreaker, I thought helped Federer, but then he ends up losing the tiebreaker simply because, and like Fowler, one of them on the broadcast said this, and I was already thinking it, there was an ending for him. I mean, the older guy that does probably not have the conditioning overall of Djokovic, even though they're both world class, obviously, don't get me wrong, is at least he knew, hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're not going to be playing this thing at 33 all in 4 hours. You know what I mean? You can kind of just max it out and be like, okay, cool.
I wanted to see it keep going. I did not like the 12-12 tiebreak.
Well, it's the first one ever.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Well, I mean, you just don't want the Isner thing to happen again.
I know. But let them play. It's like when you in soccer, they play all these games. They play the game and they play the overtime, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, okay, well, we're going to make it penalty kicks.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of overtime in football being, okay, we're going to line up and kick 45-yard field goals until somebody misses.
I hate the college overtime. I hate it. I've told you this forever. I can't stay. It's not real football. All right, first and goal, 1st and 10 at the 25, go. It's stupid.
I like the overall idea. I want the ball on the other 40. I want you to have to get 30 yards before you're in field goal range.
I like the NFL. Here's now. I don't even like the.
I don't like the NFL because they score a touchdown, it's over. The other team doesn't get the ball.
Right. In my opinion, I like the NFL format the best if both teams are guaranteed a possession. You score a touchdown, now the other team has to score a touchdown. You have to kick it off to them, and they have to score a touchdown. And then maybe after that, it's sudden death.
Okay.
I don't like the college format at all. At all.
I know
it's dramatic and it's exciting, but it's not real football.
I had not seen this last night. I'm seeing it this morning. According to TMZ Sports, boxing legend Olympic gold medalist Pernell Whitaker was killed Sunday night after he was hit by a car in Virginia Beach.
Really?
Mm-hmm. 4-time boxing champion in 4 different weight classes, retired in 2001 before returning to the ring as a full-time trainer. Whitaker won titles in the lightweight, light welterweight, and light middleweight divisions, and was the undisputed lightweight champion during the most successful portion of his career. He was 40-6, or at least he won 40 of his 46 bouts during his career. So, yeah.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He also won a gold medal in the '84 Olympics in Los Angeles.
Is his name Sweet Pea?
Yeah. You seeing it now?
Yeah, I was wondering, is he the one? His nickname was Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker?
Yeah, I thought so. Right? Because he was the one that was in there with like De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad and those guys in the '90s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, that's more your area than mine, but.
Derek Morgan retires from the NFL at the age of 30.
Okay.
Spent 9 seasons with the Titans, recorded 44.5 sacks, ranked 6th all-time in the Titans/Oilers franchise history.
There's your
a lot of news today, man. A lot of news.
A lot of news today. That's what you got, huh? I won't steal Jeffrey's thunder because I want to talk about it a little bit on Thursday because I think Federer is very interesting as an athlete. I think that tennis in the spot it's in is such an interesting thing, even though we talked about it a little bit a couple weeks ago. He is very I'll tease it. He's being very stubborn right now that Federer is not the best player of all time, and he is citing lots of stats, including Federer has losing records against Nadal and Djokovic all time.
But he's older than them.
He is older than them. That is correct.
I mean, he's like Djokovic was said, that Federer inspires him to hopefully be able to play at 37. Dude's 37 out there.
Ancient for tennis.
Yes.
I give Nadal so much credit on finding his career again because his style is so hard on his body and the way he's been broken down that from a comeback standpoint, he impresses me as much as anything. And Djokovic has a chance to really run some numbers up now because nobody else has really found this big three. I mean, Murray's gone, obviously. Nobody's found this big three. He's younger than Federer. He has more all-court game than Nadal. Obviously, he's not going to beat him on clay usually, but you know what I mean. He has the chance to really throw up 8 of the next 12 Grand Slams or something like that. I mean, that Grand Slam number for Djokovic might be 23, 24 in a few years. He's at 16 right now.
Is there anybody out there that's ready to emerge as his big spoiler?
I'm not the answer on that one. I don't know. I know there's some pretty good players, but they just haven't shown the ability to be consistent enough to match this group.
Gotcha.
Because, I mean, you look at Djokovic's run to the finals, he wasn't really tested very much. He kind of just beat the crap out of everybody.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy there in Oxford on South Lamar. You can find them at 662-236-2222 is the phone number. You can transfer your medications. You can ask about all the different things we talked about, including the CBD oil that is FDA approved. It is available to help with multiple different things, including pain, insomnia, and much more. And we've been telling you about the brand alternatives for Viagra and Cialis. That's a sildenafil, where you just you break off half or a quarter of the tablet. Get you ready as little as 15 minutes, and they operate with discretion if you need it. TysonDrugs.com, G&MPharmacy.com. You click product request, and you request a prescription right there online. They also deliver to your home or workplace. Again, that's 662-236-2222.
Podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. Right there in Oxford, I should say. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances, up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. They also have a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. To learn more, go to Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. We're also brought to you by Scoopers Pet Waste Removal, LLC. Everyone loves their pets, but no one loves stepping in their pet's stuff, if you will. Tracking that stuff into your house is a nightmare. Scoopers can take care of it. They'll go into your backyard, your apartment complex, your condominium, and pick up what no one really wants to pick up. They'll do it for $10 a cleaning. They'll clean up your yard. They'll do it on your schedule, whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or a one-time service. No contracts are required. You can cancel at any time. If you have multiple dogs, it's just $2 for each additional dog. So if you own a home, a condo, or an apartment complex in Oxford, and you'd like to deal with a lot less crap, call Scoopers at 662-506-2754, or simply send them an email at scoopers.oxfordpetwaste@gmail.com to get your cleanings scheduled today. And we're brought to you by 7 South Tailgating. 7 South, owned and operated by husband-wife duo Kyle and Jordan Thornton. They're both Ole Miss alums and Oxford locals. Kyle's a former Ole Miss baseball player. Jordan, a former Ole Miss football staff member. What started as a way to pay for college has become the greatest tailgating service provider at Ole Miss. The team at 7 South are rebels through and through, and they take pride in the Grove and the impact their service has on protecting, preserving, and enriching the Ole Miss game day tailgating tradition. Call them directly at 662-321-1682 or visit 7southtailgating.com.
So where are you sitting? Are you back into like Cubs every day now that we're past the break, or what? Where are you with that group right now?
They're pulling my interest in slowly. They swept the Pirates over the weekend. I didn't watch much of it at all. I did watch some of the game yesterday because I went had it on in the background while I worked on 10 Thoughts. I'm going to see them this weekend in Chicago. They'll probably get swept by the Reds this week, and so that will take some of the steam off of it. They're a hot run away from me getting interested. They're a hot run and a trade away from me getting really interested.
Still a pretty fun division there. I mean, the Reds are in last place, and they're only 6.5 back.
Yeah, and
it's funny because they have killed the Cubs this year. And so if you ask me in a bubble, hey, who's the best team in the Central? I always go Cincinnati.
And they're 42 and 48.
Castillo's really good. DeSclafani's really good. Sonny Gray's been really good. They've got a couple of bullpen arms, and they hit the crap out of it. Milwaukee's faded a little. The Cardinals they're there. I think, what are they, 3 out? Pittsburgh's faded a little.
5.5 out.
Look, nobody's great. I mean, the Cubs are not a great team by any stretch. They have games where they play great, but they're not consistent.
Cubs have the second largest run differential in the NL. 1 run ahead of the Braves.
Yeah.
The Dodgers, however, plus 134 on that puppy.
I'll say this. If we get a Cubs-Braves division series, it should be absolutely dramatic.
Should be the
two teams are very close in terms of where they are. Neither one of those teams can comfortably say, hey, we're significantly better than the other.
The Braves.
I think the Braves.
Go ahead.
I think the Braves are better than the Cubs, but I don't think they're so much better than the Cubs that they would be guaranteed a series win. And here's where it's the buzzkill. It's the reason, to answer your question, I'm not super into it. I don't think either the Braves or the Cubs have more than a puncher's chance against the Dodgers in a 7-game series.
The Braves have scored the most runs in the National League, 507. Cubs at 477, Dodgers at 499. However, the Dodgers have only allowed 365 runs this season.
As opposed to
441 for the Braves, 410 for the Cubs.
Yeah, that's significant. The Dodgers.
That's a half run a game-ish.
Yeah, their starting pitching is so good that Kershaw's not their ace. Kershaw might not be their number 2.
The Twins lead all of baseball in runs scored at 523, and they have a run differential of 121.
Oh, they're sneaky really good.
Maybe from a differential standpoint, the most impressive one to me is the Astros have only given up 391 runs in the American League.
Yeah. Well, they really pitch well.
Yeah, that's a
great bullpen.
That's a good one. So, I will give a little advice, or not advice, but I went and watched Hamilton last night in Memphis at the Orpheum. If you're going to do it, for sure do it. If you're never going to do it, okay, don't listen to me. But if you're on the fence, I would do it. That's what I would tell you. I like theater. I like musicals. I've probably been to, 10 or 15 over the course of the years. It was by far my favorite. I think Wicked was probably my favorite going into last night. It was excellent. It was really, really good. So if you're debating it and you go, hey, I can do this, but I can't just decide if it's worth pulling the trigger, I do think it's worth pulling the trigger and seeing it. That's my advice for you.
Yeah, I like theater too. I've not been to as many shows as you have, but I absolutely loved Hamilton. Loved it.
Stayed relatively true to the main story, the real story-ish.
Yeah.
It didn't stray. It even hit a couple topics that I was surprised it got to last night. Yeah, I was very pleased. I
loved it. Downloaded the soundtrack. Listened to the soundtrack sometimes in the car just for
do
fun.
You really?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I agree with your sentiment. If you're on the fence about
if you're going to do it, of course. If you're never going to do it, okay, whatever. I mean, but that's fine.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't do the political thing on me. If you can't ever suspend politics for just a minute and enjoy something for art, that's I can't help you. But if you're on the fence about it, you should go. It's really, really good.
Well, and I mean, let's not really compare the exact political climate now to 1777. Little different.
It's a little, yeah.
There have been some changes in the last 200 how many ever years.
Oh God.
Yeah. But it's snarky, it's funny, it's great. It's really good. You'll laugh, you'll be entertained.
The anniversary of that duel was last week.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I don't know, the whole duel thing just it's amazing to me in a lot of ways that it's just like, all right, this is the final resolution of conflict. We've tried all these different things, and you have to go down this list, but then if we get to here's where we are.
Well, and when you study that particular duel,
yeah,
I actually believe that, it was also a way where nobody got killed, but the spat ended.
Right.
Like you both fired into the air, and that's that.
Yeah, they said, okay, let's chill.
It's over. There's quite a bit of conflict among historians about what actually happened, but the consensus appears to be that Hamilton, which was completely against his nature as a person. I've read that book. That book is a great read. It was against his nature to ever let anything go, but that he appeared to be at a point in his life where he was ready to let it go.
And yeah, I think that's true from what I've read, which I've not read that book.
Burr was scared. Burr did not believe that
he didn't
Hamilton
trust him. He thought he was going to get shot.
Yeah, and so
he read everything a different way.
Yes,
judging by what people have said, obviously we haven't, whatever. But and I mean, it's his career was over at that moment that he shot and hit him.
Oh yeah,
that was it.
His life, in many ways,
because that was kind of what Hamilton's deal was. Hamilton was, hey, if I shoot him, I'm done. I'm never going to hold office. I'm never going to have basically the power and the platform to do all the things that he had been trying to do. So, yes, against nature, but it was a lot of self whatever too in this. So, which is what Hamilton was about. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, watch it, don't watch it, whatever. But those are my thoughts. We will have again no show tomorrow. We will be back on Wednesday. We'll have some media members, people talking about other programs. We'll kind of bring you that around the SEC field the rest of the week. So have a good day, and we will talk to you then.